Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. So, what am I going to talk about today? Today, I'm going to talk about something a lot of you have been asking me on Instagram. A lot of you have been thinking about doing recently, that is buying a new car. You feel that it's time that you bought yourself a car, and you've been asking me, is it the right time to buy a car? All right. So, this leads to a huge quantity of problems a lot of people face. Some of you have cash for the car, and you can look at buying the car outright. Some of you don't have the cash for the car, and you're thinking of putting down money and taking a loan. Then, of course, there's a lot of you who don't have enough cash, but are thinking of maybe since I can't afford to buy the car I want, maybe I can buy a second-hand car. So I thought I'll talk about the pros and cons of each, and then you can make your own decision based on your circumstance. And I'll try and conclude with what my advice would be. First, in India, you can buy a car. It's called hire purchase. That is to purchase a car through finance. Banks offer various percentages depending on your credit worthiness. If you are a person with good credit score and a good credit worthiness, you can get a lower rate of interest. And if you're a person who's taking a loan for the first time and you don't have a very good credit score and you have defaulted before, then they will offer you a loan, but at a much higher cost. So you can go to any of these banks' website, and you can enter the number of the cost of the car, and you can say this is the down payment you're willing to make, and it will immediately tell the EMI which you have to pay. And some of the banks offer 100% loans depending on the person whom it is, and some don't offer more than 70% if they deem that you're not really credit worthy. So they expect you to make a down payment to ensure that have some skin in the game, as Nassim Taleb says. So this is the route and option for hire purchase. And if you go, most dealers have a bank tied up with them, and they will offer you immediately, and they'll be trying frantically to push their bank and their finance person down your throat. For the simple reason, dealers have a percentage and a incentive to make sure that you take finance through them, from them, so that way they make some money back. And sometimes what the dealer does is when they're offering you a cash discount, it is actually that incentive they're foregoing and offering that as a discount. The other place where a dealer makes a very huge sum of money is on first new car insurance. They make quite a huge killing in that. And that's why if they're pushing insurance down your throat and they're offering you a very sizable discount, trust me, that discount is coming from them foregoing the insurance premium bonus which they're going to enjoy. They're foregoing that and offering that to you as a discount. If you remove a finance option from the dealer and you remove the insurance option from the dealer, the actual discount he's offering you will actually evaporate to nothing. So if you want to do that as an experiment, call up a couple of car dealers and tell them we're ready to buy the car, but you don't want to take the insurance from you. You don't want to take the car finance from you, that you're doing it through your bank, willing to buy the car from them. And what is the discount they're offering? Suddenly, lo and behold, pretty much everybody in the market will be offering the same price, because purely on a vehicle transaction, the dealer has a very thin margin, and to cover his overhead cost and promotion and employee and all those other cost overheads he's bearing down on him as a business owner, he cannot forego the thin margin which he's sitting on. Anyway, I digressed a little bit. This is how taking a car on finance works. Second, this involves buying the car outright. You've been very wise and you've been very smart. Like what Anand has been saying, you've been creating a mutual fund account and you've been putting systematically money into that account, 5,000-6,000 rupees a month. And it's been 5-6 years and you've amassed a huge amount of money, 20-25 lakhs, and you have the cash to go outright and buy the car. I'm very happy for you. You've been very disciplined. You have saved the money. You definitely deserve to buy your car. I would definitely endorse it and go buy your car because you have the cash. And if it's something that you need to do, and I can understand, not everybody needs to keep all their money saved and invested for a lifetime. Some of it needs to be spent, and some does make sense. If you do have a requirement to have a vehicle, definitely do invest into a vehicle to make your life easier. And if you have the cash for it, go for it. The third option in India is called the car leasing. Not many cheaper cars are available. It's usually looked at mid-range cars to high-end cars which come into this category, though there are new startup companies that have come to India which are offering leasing even for low-end cars. Before, it used to be directly offered from the manufacturer to the buyer, but now a lot of businesses have come up, startups have come up, which are offering it as a via medium where they're sitting in the middle. They finance the car sale and they lease it to you in return. And it's like basically, instead of like how you rent a flat, you're renting a car. What does this mean? This means instead of paying an EMI, you pay a monthly rent for your car. You don't have the ownership headaches. That means you don't have the insurance headache. You don't have the maintenance headache. You don't have a lot of the headaches. But the car is not yours. It will never be registered in your name. You don't own the car in any shape or form. You basically get to use the car, put petrol in the car. And of course, you'll be obligated to taking some care of the car, meaning scratches and dents. And you can't thrash the car. And you have to keep a certain amount of cleanliness inside the car and not let it go wild with your kids inside the car. But the advantage is every time a new model comes out, you don't need to worry about selling the car, buying a new car, and doing all that. You just go turn this car in and pick up your next new model which you wanted, and you can drive that away and you can carry on. So this is a major advantage with leasing. So what is the comparison in terms of ownership between these three? Finance. Finance is when you take car finance, you end up paying almost twice the car depending on the length of finance and the cost of finance. If you take any calculator, EMI calculator, you can plug in the numbers. If you increase the number of years so you can buy yourself a more expensive car, by the time you finish paying that loan, if you see you have actually paid twice the amount of what the value of the car is if it's long enough tenor of the loan. If the tenor of the loan is short, you would have paid less. Maybe you would have paid 15-20% more than the cost of the car. So you can work it out and see what the cost is. Aside from that, you have your registration cost, life tax cost, and you also have your insurance, which you have to keep on paying year on year, and maintenance cost, which is basically the cost of ownership of this car. 2, where you buy it outright. When you buy it outright, the major advantage compared to taking it on finances, you have actually paid the so-called true value for the car. When you finance the car, you pay that extra 15% all the way up to 80-90% depending on the term of the loan which you have taken. So when you go and resell the car in the market, you get this false notion. I bought a car for 10 lakhs. I've had it for 3 years, 4 years. Now I'm selling it and I'm getting, let's say, 7 lakhs. You're like, I'm only losing 3 lakhs. Wrong. You're losing 3 lakhs plus all the extra you paid to the bank, which could mean an additional 6, 7, 8, 9 lakhs. So that is the true amount of money you're giving up. Please remember that. Most of you, I would say all of you, especially when you bought a vehicle in finance, when you're selling it, tend to forget that. That's a problem with debt. When you're paying it, you don't realize how much you're bleeding till someone takes up the paper and puts it in an Excel sheet and looks at it and shows you the amount of money you have bled. My cameraman is looking at me going, because I think he's bought a bike and he's calculating it in his mind now, thinking, oh my God, I paid so much. So this is what happens. So this is why I say, if you have the money, buy it outright, because when you sell the car, your actual loss in the ownership of the car is far less compared to financing the car. This is the major reason I say save and buy the car, not to rush and buy it on finance. So all of you can look at this mathematics of this, what I'm saying online, and you can see it yourself. The third option, which is renting, is a wonderful option. But do remember, you don't own the vehicle. Do remember, it is not an investment, because a lot of you think buying a vehicle is some kind of an investment. When you're renting it, it's not an investment. It's like renting a flat. You don't own the flat and you don't imagine that you're making an investment. Many of you come and argue to me saying, sir, why should I rent? The EMI, instead of paying rent, I'm paying an EMI. At the end of it, I'll get the flat. True, you do. That is only true if your rental cost and EMI cost are equal, or your rent is more than your EMI, then sure, you make savings. Same is true with car ownership. So see the ownership of the car. If you're paying EMI, you're renting the car at an EMI, which is going to be monthly rent of the car is equal to an EMI, or the EMI is cheaper, then I would suggest you rather buy the car, because if you are going to, at least there, you're going to salvage some money, carve some money back out of it, this horrendous deal you're signing up to. Otherwise, buy the car outright with cash. Leasing and financing, though they look lucrative and attractive, are not options for people in middle class and lower middle class. People in the echelons of society who are on the K-shaped upper side of the K can definitely look at financing because money is not an issue for them. They've invested so much of money with this spewing cash from all their investments. They can take it. Their accountant will actually encourage them to take a loan because for tax reasons, for some write-off or another. Even leasing they'll be encouraged to take because ownership will not be on them, so they save money there too. Especially if they're looking at taking a lease of a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW or an Audi, you don't have to register it. The registration cost is huge. Insurance cost is huge. All that is not your headache. And in terms of business, you write it off in your business expense and you'll save money there. So all that leasing idea makes sense for them. But someone in the middle class and lower middle class, all these options are crazy. And I strongly suggest you avoid financing your car and you avoid leasing your car and you save and you buy the car with outright cash. The last thing to touch upon before I close this video is second-hand car. Please do not buy a second-hand car. Okay? You will not be happy. Same reason buying a second-hand flat will not make you happy. Buying a second-hand car will make you miserable. And though it looks like a right thing to do because you feel that you're getting a bigger car or something like that, in the long run, you'll be miserable. That's my advice. At least that's my experience. From owning new cars and owning second-hand cars, that's been my experience. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I look forward to your comments down below. And do DM me your questions and queries on Instagram. And if you have different opinions and you would like to chat more about it with me, catch me on Twitter or on LinkedIn and we can have a conversation. Thanks. Bye.
வணக்கங்க. நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி 24ஆம் தேதி நவம்பர் அன்னைக்கு உங்களை சந்திக்கிறதுக்கு குவைத் வரேன். ஈவெண்ட் 3:30 மணிலேருந்து 6:30 மணி மட்டும் இருக்கும். யாக்கூத் பேங்க்வே ஹால், மில்லேனியம் ஹோட்டல் அண்ட் கன்வென்ஷன் சென்டர், ரிங் ரவுண்ட், அபுதார் அல் கஃபாரி ஸ்ட்ரீட், குவைத்தில் இருக்குது. அங்கே என்னை சந்திக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறவங்க கீழே இருக்கிற வாட்ஸ்அப் லிங்க்கில் மெசேஜ் அனுப்புங்க, இல்லாட்டா இமெயிலில் போடுங்க. எங்கள் டீம் உங்களை கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. இட்ஸ் a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.